Peter Dewey was killed on Wednesday, September 26, 1945. He had been ordered out of the area by General Gracey. Why, I'm not too sure. Peter didn't give us too many details. But part of it was the fact that we had an American flag on our vehicles, and General Gracey said, that's a no-no. Only the commanding general could fly a flag. But we dropped his luggage off at the airport, and then Peter suddenly discovered that he'd forgotten his dog tags, and they were in his room at the Continental Hotel. So we went back and picked those up, and while we were at the hotel, we were informed that Captain Coolidge had been badly injured. He had gone up country with a small contingent of British to bring some French families out from Dalat. And they had been ambushed while there. And during the fighting, he had his throat cut. So we rushed to the British Field Hospital to see how he was. And he was in good hands, but he was pretty badly injured. And Peter Dewey was mad as hell about that, to think that would happen to one of us. So we stayed with Coolidge a little while, then went back to the airport and got there about noon. The plane still hadn't arrived, and Lieutenant Rhodes said he still hadn't heard from the plane, but he was sure it would arrive sometime. Peter says, okay. Gets here, just hold it, we'll be back. We're going back to our headquarters for lunch. I've been driving Peter all morning. So we got in the Jeep, he said, Blue, I'll drive. I said, all right, Peter, I'll drive it back. He said, no, I want to drive. I said, well, fine. I really didn't want him to drive because, frankly, he was kind of a lousy driver. So we took off, and instead of taking the main road back to Saigon, he took a back road, which was a little shorter, a shorter distance to our headquarters. But it was out in the wilds a little bit, and I said to Peter, why are you taking this road? He says, well, save some time. And I said, it could be a little dangerous. He says, oh, well, nothing's going to happen. So if you turn the corner to take the road leading to our headquarters, parallel to our headquarters, we encountered a roadblock, and consisting of some logs and some brush. And in order to get through the roadblock, we had to make sort of an inverted S. As all this time we were driving, Peter was talking about Captain Coolidge and how unhappy he was that he had been hurt so badly and whatnot. So as we went through the roadblock, we noticed 3 enemies standing in the ditch to our left. And Peter shook his fist at him and yelled something in French. What he yelled, I don't know, because I don't speak French. But with that, we were just on the straight edge of the S, heading for the ditch, and machine gun opened up. And the burst caught Peter in the back of the head, on the left side. The Jeep continued and tipped on its side. And I grabbed a hold of Peter, but he was dead. It didn't hit me at all. And there weren't even any, as I recall, no bullet holes to the windshield. So he caught the full burst. Well, the ditch is about 4 or 5 deep, and 4 or 5 feet deep. And next to the ditch, on the other side, is a hedge. Hedge is about 3 feet thick, maybe 6, 8 feet high. Firing continued, rifle fire, but the chassis of the Jeep protected me. I had a .45 in my holster, and I had 3 clips, a total of 21 rounds of ammunition. Peter had a carbine, .30 caliber carbine in the Jeep. I grabbed that. It jammed right away. I don't think it had been fired in months and months and months. So I had to get out of there. I went back to the Jeep again and checked on Peter, and nothing I could do for him. So I made my way around the hedge to the other side of the hedge is the golf course. So the hedge protected me too, and I made my way down the hedge. People came around the end of the hedge and started firing at me. There were about 15 or 20. And there was firing coming through the hedge too. But I slowed them down with a .45, and until I got down to the edge of the hedge, Then there was no more protection. And they were still coming, and I had 2 rounds left. So I took off across the golf course. I had to run about roughly 500 yards to our headquarters. Then they fired everything. Shot my hat off. Went through my trousers, but everything. Just lucky. So I went to the headquarters, and Captain Frank White was there, and he had 2 war correspondents guests for lunch. Sergeant Wicks was there, and we broke out our arms, and we had a pitched battle for about an hour or so. Turns out that Peter Dewey was the first American to be killed in Vietnam. After the fighting was over, the enemies had retreated, we went back the road, up the road to recover Peter Dewey's body, but it was gone and the Jeep was gone. And we were never able to find him. Even though I got a Japanese company of men out to search that area, they searched for about 3 weeks, or an area of at least 2 or 3 square miles. And no luck. We did find his ammunition belt and canteen. That's all. They've been buried. So, but in the meantime, we checked the morgue every day. And the morgue was doing a pretty good business, especially with the French people. We had them break open the boxes to look at the bodies, see if we could identify one of them as Peter.